Yeah.
And now it's time for today's guest. Isabelle McCalla is the star of Broadway's hit musical comedy, The Prom, which has resonated with so many young people in the LGBTQ community across the country. Here to tell us more about it is the Broadway sensation, Isabelle McCalla.
Woo!
Hey!
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
just before the camera went on, we were talking a little about the Oscars with you, and
Yes.
you love one of the actresses at the Oscars.
I have an it is healthy love for Olivia Colman. I think she is brilliant. Like, I watched her in Broadchurch years ago, and then, you know, with The Favorite coming out, I thought she was brilliant. And one of our stage managers at the Prom is also equally obsessed with her. And as a joke, we each got each other cutouts of her. So there are two cutouts of Olivia
Like
Colman.
full size?
Like, the one I got is a full size,
go.
and the other one is like a mini 2-foot one. So yeah, I love Olivia Colman, and I think her speech was amazing.
What do
she's
you love
the
her
best.
from?
Originally it was Broadchurch, because I got in because I love David Tennant, and he was on that, and I'm a sucker for British dramas. So I thought she was a great actress there, and I've kind of been following her career since and watching little things like Tyrannosaur that she did, and I just think she's wonderful. And in The Favorite, she's unbelievable.
Well,
so
guess
good.
what? We have a surprise for you.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
I got stuck in traffic.
Oh, New York traffic.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, a little more about you. I was like, a little to focus on you. You are from The Prom. You starred in The Prom. So tell us about that show on Broadway.
Yeah, so The Prom is this show about these 4 Broadway veterans who find themselves out of work and panned in the New York Times. So they decide to revitalize their careers by fighting for a cause, and the cause they find is this girl in Indiana who is a lesbian and wanted to take her girlfriend to the prom, and the PTA decided to cancel it instead. So they decide to march to Indiana and right this wrong, and obviously chaos ensues. And it's what happens when like a small conservative town in Indiana clashes with the liberal Democrats of Broadway. And it's really good. It's a really good show about building bridges and how we communicate with each other, and it's so funny, and it's got so much heart to it. I play Alyssa Green, who is the girlfriend in the closet, and my mom's the head of the PTA, so I'm very scared of owning who I am, and you know, staying true to that while also being there for my girlfriend, who is dealing with all this onslaught of hate. Which yeah. So
And what is it like being a part of a musical that's just groundbreaking for the LGBT community?
Honestly, it's been the most rewarding experience of my life thus far, and just solely based on the responses I've had from young lesbians across the country who reach out to both Caitlin Kinnunen and myself about how this show resonates with them and how they are seeing themselves represented on stage for the first time. And also the fact that like it is an uplifting story. Yes, we have points of turmoil in it, but ultimately it's a story where the lesbians do get a happy ending, and you do see that it's normalized and they can have lives together. So the fact that I get to play this character that like kids can like feel like is awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And The Prom made history with the first LGBTQ kiss at the Macys Thanksgiving Day Parade.
It did.
How did that feel? That must have been amazing. Like, I'm sure leading up to it, you were so excited.
It was really cool. I mean, we were a little nervous going into it when we were going into rehearsal. We were afraid that NBC wouldn't want the kiss at all, but when we staged the rehearsal for them, we kissed. They were like, great. They had no qualms with it whatsoever. So
Wow.
And then we did our camera blocking rehearsal the Monday before the parade, and Casey Nicola, our director, was watching the monitors, and they zoomed in on the kiss at that point, and it was just, he had that moment where he pulled us aside afterwards, like, this is happening. This is the first kiss, LGBTQ kiss in parade history, and little kids are going to be watching it, and it's going to validate families that look like this all over the country. So that was like a really,
That's huge.
It's a huge moment.
huge.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so, and I remember doing it leading up to it. I was so cold, too. 0 degrees.
And you got a little dress.
Just a dress, 2 layers of tights.
Oh my
but like,
God.
Oh, no.
yeah, I think in the clips you can see when we're singing, it's just like the air is
shivering.
freezing. But like looking into Caitlin's eyes and being like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna kiss it, it's gonna be awesome. And it wasn't raunchy or anything, but it was tender and beautiful. And I think, you know, it resonated with a lot of people. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I love that. There must have been so many people, so many fans that reached out. Is there anything that sticks out to you, any story that someone told you?
Yeah, I mean, there's the best ones for me are like you know, after seeing The Kiss, there were girls who told me that that was the moment they decided to come out to their families on Thanksgiving and have that conversation and start these long conversations, essentially, like, you know, because it doesn't happen, and for some families, it's not easy. It's not just, we knew you were gay all along, we love you the same. It's like, we have to learn how to deal with this and normalize it and make sure that this doesn't change our relationship. And the fact that, like, I, playing Alyssa Green, have inspired so many young girls to come out because my character struggles with the same things they do, that is the best thing. There was one girl at the stage door who kind of came out to her mom while she was talking to me about it, and her family was there, and they, like, kind of had this beautiful moment, and they all started crying and hugging, and I started crying, and we started hugging each other, and it was just unbelievably
Wow.
That's
warm.
really
And,
moving.
yeah, and also the great thing is that there are the parents who come and say, I understand now. I'm sorry I didn't before. I didn't understand what you were going through. I didn't understand how hard it was. I understand now that you are just a human who wants to love who you love, and that is okay.
Yeah.
So that's been, like, super cool.
And I think one of the things that probably helps parents understand is the music. I listened to this soundtrack, and specifically the song Alyssa Green is actually really hard to listen to because this is a young girl struggling with her identity, but also this this persistent pressure from her mother to be perfect.
Right.
Which is something everybody can really identify, and you understand the pressures that this young girl is facing. So what is it like for you to sing that song every night?
Honestly, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to go to that place vulnerably and emotionally because I do connect with that. I had a mother who was not is anymore, but was very difficult and had high standards for me, and I wanted to meet them. And when we have a loving relationship, it wasn't as bad as you know, Mrs. Green and Alyssa's is, but when you feel the need to meet such high standards, you completely lose yourself, right? You're trying to fill that person's void instead of filling your own. So you become a lie within yourself and you don't know how to even build back yourself. Yeah, or like, so going to that place every day is hard. It's very hard to go there, and every day is different, and different parts resonate with me every day, and it just, but it's important, and I'm like glad I get to do it.
It's important. And like you said, it does have a happy ending. There's a lot of joy in the musical. Has it made you reflect back on your own prom experience, or did you have a fun experience in prom?
I did have a fun, I went to a very small school, so there were like 22 kids in my
really
class.
small.
So the entire high school got to go to prom, so there were 80 of us there. So I went like every year to the prom, which was fun. So it was special, but my senior prom, I did wear like a really fun black dress with like gold flowers on it, and I loved the penne pasta.
Oh.
That was my thing.
Food? When
There
the
you
food
go.
is good at prom.
Let me tell you.
They don't talk about that enough.
My prom dinner actually was my favorite part of prom as well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I dancing barefoot,
Right.
and then so I danced barefoot and I ate a lot of pasta.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
That's a winning night.
My kind of prom.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of your career on Broadway, you also were part of the Broadway tour for Aladdin.
Yeah.
Where you played Princess Jasmine. So what was it like playing a Disney princess?
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to, it's a complete opposite of Alyssa's. Jasmine is very confident and strong, and I loved, because Jasmine was the princess I related to growing
Right.
up because she looked like me, right? So like it was amazing to be able to be a positive representation for, you know, girls of color, and also the fact that Jasmine is incredibly strong and smart. Like, actually being a princess is what stands in her way of getting what she wants in her life. So being able to come at it from that point of view was like, hey, princesses are more than just their looks. They also have opinions and follow their hearts, and that was really cool.
And you get
They have
to
tigers.
be a
And
part. Yeah,
I
tigers.
wish we had a tiger in the show, but
Yeah, you get to really round out that character in a
Yeah.
more substantial way
Yeah.
thure the play.
which was fun. And I got to fly on a carpet.
Yes.
Which, again,
Very cool.
flying on a carpet is probably number one or two great things you're able to do on Broadway.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's quite magical.
So did you always have Broadway aspirations as a kid growing up?
Always. I saw Cats when I was 5 years old, and that was my first Broadway show. And I sat on my mom's lap on the aisle, and one of the actors would like crawl through, and,
Yeah.
and one just stopped right next to us and like looked up at me, and I apparently went, "Good kitty," and started petting her. And she like nuzzled into me, and then I asked my mom to get the VHS, and I watched it every day for a year.
Yeah.
And like pretended to be a different cat every day.
So they're making the movie, the Cats movie with Idris Elba
They
and Taylor
are
Swift. Yeah.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I love
Sexiest
Idris
cat.
So
Elba, like truly.
We got to get you on that. But any other Broadway roles you dream about being besides a cat?
Yeah, besides cat. Now that I'm an adult, I'd love to be Sally Bowles in Cabaret.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a great show, and like she's just delicious and fun and
And iconic, yeah.
iconic. Yeah, that's probably my dream role.
Okay, well, we'll look out for that.
We'll make some
Great.
calls.
Yeah.
Great.
Isabel, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.